Well, good morning. It's 7:30 a.m. this Friday, November the 4th. And of course, Fridays are the days that our numbers count. In other words, the price that the stock upon which my contracts are based finishes on Friday determines whether or not the open options will be exercised or not. So at any rate, they will all be done after close of business, which means I can sell more contracts on Monday. Monday's payday. Like that. Of course, the news on the market has been greatly affected by the continuing interest rate hikes by the Fed, which I expect will continue for a while. Which brings up a thought, the future is kinder to those who prepared for it. That's true of retirement. That's true of financial well-being, certainly. And those who just go through life being tossed by every wind and uncertainty, believe they're unlucky. But a lot of it, luck that is, has to do with our planning for the future. So if at any point in time you find yourself unlucky, it's best to re-examine everything to be sure you're planning and sort of plan for the worst and hope for the best. And that way you'll be less likely to be disappointed. As my kids were growing up, I told them life is all about options. It's all about options. And I'm a big believer in having money put aside because, and regardless of whether you're getting any return on that money or not, it's secondary, because what it does is it provides you options. I read a statistic some time back, and I have no idea how they came up with the number, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But they were talking about that 70% of the people who bought new cars was because they were having mechanical problems with their old one, and they didn't have the ready cash to repair it, to pay for a major repair. So they would just trade it in, roll that note over into the next one, and really bad scenario. And there's a raging debate, should you keep putting money into an old car? Well, my personal experience over my lifetime has been, yes, it's always better to repair it. Always. Some of my records being, I bought a 1985 full-size Dodge Ram van, 8-passenger van, paid cash for it. I gave it away many years later after it had 250,000 miles on it. And my total repairs on that over that lifetime, and that was, I got rid of it in 2005. So that was 20 years. It was probably maybe $10,000. But it served me very, very well. It's so nice, for those 20 years not to have a car note. Also, as it got older, it meant I didn't have to carry collision insurance on it, because I could afford to take the loss if necessary. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say having the money put aside is it's all about the options. And I'm not talking here about stock options. I'm talking about life's options. You can make choices that are better for you if you've got the money to have those choices. If you don't have money put aside, oftentimes you have to do what you got to do to, get down the road. All right, enough for that fatherly wisdom. The market today, I'm sort of expecting maybe to get a little bit of a rise. The panic that surrounded the Fed's indication that they were going to continue to raise the interest rates brought the reality of it home to a lot of people. But it hasn't really altered what's going to happen. This is, if I can look in my crystal ball for a moment, here's the way it's going to pan out. The people who are heavily in debt are going to cave in first. It's going to be ugly, ugly, ugly. So that demand for product is going to slow down tremendously. The people on the very, very, very lowest economic level are not going to suffer quite as much because most of their income is coming in from pensions or welfare or whatever, food stamps. So they've been suffering their whole lives, so that'll continue. But the next thing that's going to happen, phase 2, is going to be the layoffs. And that's when the well-meaning folks, people who've played by the rules, done everything they should be doing in life, are going to get hurt if they don't have some money put aside. And if they're pretty much out of debt. There's only 2 things that you really should be in debt for, and that's the mortgage on your house and your car. And hopefully you haven't bought one of these $70,000 automobiles lately that you finance for 5-6 years. So anyway, that's the way it'll go. But the thing of it is there will be a recovery out there at some point. Now, as an option seller, I'm hoping for an L-shaped recovery instead of a V. The option seller's prayer is, please, not too far, not too fast. So I've taken the hit on my portfolio value as the value of the stock that I'm using that underlies my options. It goes down. It hasn't gone down as much as it would if I were just holding the stock, for sure, because I've been collecting a lot of premiums. But nevertheless, I would like to see that liquidation value go up and have a good revenue stream as well. I want my cake and eat it too. So anyway, that would be accomplished if we have a good level recovery, which would go like this and then gradually go up. Because while it's level, fewer of the options that I sell will be exercised. And remember, an unexercised option contract is 100% profit and free cash flow. So that's just Christmas. So anyway, we'll be looking for that. And one other thing about it going sideways, the longer it goes sideways, at some point in time, the revenue stream, that is the premiums that people are willing to pay, are going to actually decline. The reason being is that they perceive there's less risk. And remember, what as a seller of option contracts, what I'm selling is I'm buying their risk and they're giving me money. And so as the risk decreases, or the perceived risk, then the premium's going to go down slightly. But here again, remember that fewer contracts are going to be exercised. So I can live with that. Now, at some point in time, and it could be a year down the road, when the prices of the underlying stock actually start increasing, that's when I start to give some of it back, because basically it's going to take more money to cover the contract, the put contracts. So my free cash flow actually goes down, but my gap profit actually goes up. So it's the nature of writing contracts. It's sort of counterintuitive. Well, it'll be an interesting day to watch. Friday is a little bit like sitting down in a football game, and you've been through the first three quarters, and now in your fourth quarter, and you get down to the final bell. So we'll see how it goes today. I probably won't do another video today unless the market does something noteworthy. But of course, on Saturday, when Robinhood, my broker, settles my account, then I've got to plan orders for Monday, and I do a whole video on the account settlement, which is a little bit like my weekly scorecard. So you'll find that interesting, I'm sure. Also, remember, online, I've got all the weekly settlements going back 2 years. So you can see how what I do works. All right. Well, I hope you have a good day. Please subscribe, like, and notify. Thank you.